You all know about K-pop, the music industry of Korea in general, Japan, a little bit about Thailand, China, because, and of course, Philippines, because that's my home country. But are you curious about what's going on in India, for example? What kind of boy bands do they have? Do they even have a boy band? Indonesia, Malaysia? Well, they do have their own stories, so let's take a look. First up is India, and if you ever mention the word boy band in India, the very first name that will ever come up will most likely be the Band of Boys. The Band of Boys reigned during the 90s and they stole the hearts of every Indian girl out there because Karan Oberoi, Shereen Varghese, Siddharth Hardipur, and Chintu Bosale were absolute cuties. They were also the very first boy band from India that was loosely patterned after Western boy bands like the Backstreet Boys. They practically created a new image of pop in the country. But 90s kids are probably going to argue and say, it's not just about the looks, it's also about their talent in singing. And they are most likely going to be right. Songs like Gori and She Drives Me Crazy and Ishq got the entire country grooving. Were you digging it? Well, you'll be happy to know that after 15 years of hiatus, they are actually officially back together and actually promised their fans that they're not going to leave again. So they're here to stay. Next up, Colonial Cousins. Rhythm, rhythm of the world. I have to admit that this band isn't exactly the traditional boy band that we are accustomed to. The duo was well in their 30s when they started the band, but they sure are pop and total bops. Unlike Band of Boys and all other boy bands that I'll be talking about in this video, Colonial Cousins stuck to the traditional Indian music and they spread message of hope and love and pure good vibes. Nothing of those broken hearts and depression. If you think that their appeal is limited to India, do know that while many boy bands and girl bands for that matter are still struggling to get recognition from the international market, Colonial Cousins have won multiple international awards like MTV Asia Viewers' Choice Award and US Billboard's Viewers' Choice Awards. And before moving into the next band, here is one more hit for your musically thirsty hearts.
Something about the way you smile, I may never know the reason why. Something about the way you smile, you may never know the reason why.
Sanam is dubbed as the Indian equivalent of One Direction, both in sound and looks. They first gained popularity after composing renditions of Bollywood hit songs and uploading them to YouTube. There are 4 members. The frontman is Sanam Puri, and then there's Samar Puri, which is the lyricist and the lead guitar and composer. Venki S or Venkat Subramaniam on bass guitar, and Kishav Danrak on drums. Indian girls and women have used many adjectives to describe this band, including drop dead gorgeous, heartbreakers, and sinfully attractive. You agree? Their fandom is affectionately called Sanamians, and they are aggressively promoting the group outside of India. So far, they have 7.8 million subscribers on YouTube. That's crazy. Having been basically self-produced, they didn't actually have a lot of funding in the beginning. But it did not stop them. In fact, they are hell-bent on conquering more with their music, which they kind of describe as a contemporary pop rock and a blend of Imani and Indian music.
मेरे महबूब कयामत होगी आज रुसवा तेरी गलियों में मोहब्बत होगी मेरी नजरें तो गिला करती है तेरे दिल.
Are you digging it? Panic, spelt with an exclamation point instead of an I. Panic is modeled after popular boy bands like Backstreet Boys and NSYNC. Band members are Prabto Singh, Adityan Nair, Nikhil John, and Chetan Dominic Awashti. And again, I hope I'm pronouncing their names correctly. If I'm not, do correct me and I apologize. They started making music in 2014. Instead of just pursuing hits, Dominic said that the biggest objective of the band is to redefine pop music in India. They want to take live performances to the next level, like how Freddie Mercury and, Michael Jackson and all these other performers did for the Western music. They kind of want to do the same thing for Indian music. Dominic is actually the group's dance leader. Are you liking his moves? Dominic believes that India has a lot of great singers and great artists, but very, very few great performers and entertainers, and he wants to change that. They currently have more than 600,000 subscribers on YouTube and growing. Unfortunately, the last time they actually uploaded was 3 years ago, which is kind of disappointing. So if any one of you knows what's happening with this band, do update us. Last is Voicez, another Indian boy band patterned after Western boy bands like Backstreet Boys and NSYNC.
It's early morning and I'm not in my bed, 'cause we're up singing and dancing instead. You got a reason and I got a right. Let's keep it going like every time.
They actually have 4 members, 2 of which are karaoke world champions, Kamran Khurshid and Faizan Khurshid, along with Joydeep Banerjee and Mazar Manan. They were actually formed in 2015 and they're trying to follow the footsteps of One Direction and BTS. They've done a lot of covers. They're pretty good at it. They also have several original songs. Unfortunately, they're not getting the same attention as Sanam, but it doesn't mean that they're not successful. In fact, they have opened for international acts, and they have also performed with one of the world's biggest boy band, Backstreet Boys, in Singapore. So, did you enjoy our little visit to India? Next up is Malaysia, and here is a preview. But before that, if you have anything to share, if you have any questions, do leave us a comment.